With half of the world's population under 25 years of age and with the 17 goals to be achieved in 14 years, we just cannot afford to leave half of the world's population behind. Leaving no one behind in the Sustainable Development Goals will be different from what we meant in the Millennium Development Goals. Leaving no one behind is going to be about engaging every single citizen around the world to be part of the solution and the implementation and delivering the new agenda, the Agenda 2030.
We saw the benefits of the engagement of youth in the negotiation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Having youth engaged throughout is essential. Whether it's in a formal process, and just as an example, our Prime Minister has a youth council where he takes advice from youth on all government policy, including the implementation of Agenda 2030, or in informal networks where youth are engaging, say, in civil society in order to provide advice to governments, to organizations like the United Nations on their concerns, their interests, and their advice. I think that's something that we have learned finally after a number of years, is that youth are not just leaders of tomorrow, they're leaders of today. And we need to take their views into account as we devise policies, as we implement this vital development agenda for the world.
But young women and young men are equally important as older generations, and especially looking at a sustaining peace sort of perspective or approach, it's very important to be inclusive. So inclusive processes usually tend to produce more sustainable and also stable outcomes, and therefore we need to engage young women and men just as much as we need to engage everyone else.
First and foremost, young people need to make sure that the dignity of the person is placed at the center of development. Second, we need to make sure that the voice of young people, both at the grassroots level and at the city level, are heard in this policy formulation and program planning. And third, young people need to make sure that their energy and their talents are used towards the development of policies and programs that contribute towards making real and lasting change in their communities.
I think for young people, it's very important to play an active role, or as active as they can play, in politics, in educating themselves on their country's situation, in educating themselves on their right, and in also holding decision makers accountable for those rights, and also advocating for a space for themselves to be able to take part in those decision-making processes.
It's very important, and I think an opportunity that I see is the need of being tolerant and understanding each other and finding a common ground, even though we are coming from different places.
Young people need to make sure that they are informed agents of change and transformation. Particularly in social media, young people need to make sure that when they share information online, these are credible information that are true, and they use social media and other tools that they have in making lasting change in their community and in their country. Because young people today, they are all searching for what can they give themselves to? What is their meaning and their purpose in their lives? And if governments around the world will truly focus on their needs and prepare them to become the best leaders of the future, definitely we are not making a mistake. And truly there's still great hope for their countries and for the world.
Every single person out there, like, tell to your friends, to your family, to whoever you know that doesn't know anything about the SDGs or haven't heard about them before. Tell them what is it about and how they can contribute in whatever place they are, regardless of the social background that they have, their political views, their economical situation, or whatever circumstances they are. Everybody should know about them. And I think the final thing is action. I think, like, young people should be out there getting their hands dirty and thinking about what are easy ways that we can contribute in very small actions every single day.
I think the challenges is that we have not really inspired the young people. We have not really inspired their imaginations, their creativity, created them the space to use their knowledge and really harness their energy.
We tend to think of youth as young men, and often in a very negative sense. So youth at risk is a term that we hear a lot in the peace and security area. And so interventions that target youth usually tend to target young men, whereas interventions that, for example, target women's economic empowerment or political participation kind of forget to apply that age lens and actually sort of don't necessarily reach the younger women behind the more established women in civil societies.
The opportunity that I see for young people is the Resolution 2250 on youth, peace and security, which is a historic resolution that was passed unanimously on 9th of December 2015 from the Security Council. It is a historic document because this resolution focuses entirely on young people, both young men and young women. It can be used as a tool to make sure that the governments are investing in young people. It can be used by the grassroots civil society to make sure that young people are included in the peace building processes and programs. It can also be used by young people in the local communities, and they can be agents of change in their communities. So through this resolution, the grassroots level civil society can create a global impact. This resolution is very historic because by this resolution, it has been proved that we, the young people, we are not the troublemakers, we are not the victims, we are not the perpetrators, but we are the partners in peace building you need. Peace cannot be achieved without us. It has to be achieved with us, through us, and for us.
Governments should prioritize investment in youth, putting legal a framework that is conducive to youth participation and youth engagement, and ensuring that all partners agree that investment in the human potential that is offered by this largest generation of young people is our ticket to a better future.